Matt Hall and Grant Flanders of K-StateOnline back again. UMBC K-State Wildcat matchup tonight. Should be a fun one. Yesterday, you sat in the press conference, saw Coach Weber and some players. While I was in the locker room talking with players. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought K-State said all the right things. I think they're sincerely really focused on this game. I don't think they're taking UMBC for granted. Of course, you don't think you're going to hear that in a press conference. They're not going to say that, but I thought it was sincere. I think K-State knows they're playing a good basketball team tonight here in the Spectrum Center, and I don't think they're going to take anything for granted or take it lightly. That's the message I got, at least. I think they're very excited to have this opportunity to win another game and go to the Sweet 16.
Kind of like it's hard to take me seriously with a t-shirt and glasses on, but
no, I think you look great.
I think you do too. Anyway, let's get back to it. Anything in particular that Coach Weber said about UMBC that you want to break down?
A couple things. I thought, one, it was impressive to me to hear how quickly they were prepared. He gave praise to the coaches for staying up till 5 or 6 in the morning. And when K-State met for breakfast, the day before the game, they had a clip tape ready. They were ready. The scout was ready. They were ready to go. So there was no wasted time for the players. You kind of hear some talk from UMBC. I just looked at my phone on Twitter that it wasn't exactly the same for them. They slept in, I think, till 11 in the morning. And players at this point, as we record this the day before the game, hadn't even seen video on K-State yet. So there's a different level of preparation, which you kind of expect at this point. So that was one, was big. And then two, just the praise for the backcourt they have. Have a player in Lyles that he compared to Marcus Foster, and that's probably kind of an apt comparison of him as a scorer and a player. He averages over 20 a game. And a lot of praise for Mora, too. People are going to look at him and say he's 5'8", 140 and not respect him as much as they should. But we were here, when we watched the whole game from the sideline when they handled Virginia. He was a great player. So I think a lot of respect for those two guys was a big key for me, but also the level of preparation, all business for K-State in this one.
Yeah, I talked with Barry Brown in the locker room. He said he is excited about the Lyles matchup as well. Another player that he can guard, and he's obviously going to have a tough matchup there.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be another really, really stern test for Barry Brown. The difference in this one that I think could be rough for Lyles and for UMBC is Barry won't be harassed as much on the other end. Again, that's not disrespecting UMBC. They have good athletes and good players, but they're not going to have a Kyrie Thomas to put on him. So Barry should be able to play both sides of the ball even better than he did against Creighton. But it will be a tough matchup because he's a really good player. We just talked again to Bruce Weber outside the locker room, and he mentioned how I think he had 30 at Arizona, and Arizona's an extremely talented basketball team. So Barry will have his hands full again, but it's a challenge that he's ready for, or excited about at least.
So there's still a storyline of Dean Wade being limited, and that's still the case today. What do you have to talk about that?
Same thing I think as we saw against Creighton. I would be very surprised if Dean Wade played tonight against the Retrievers. Easier to say than spell, thank goodness. But I think he's probably improving. He practiced again for K-State. He probably practiced both days leading into this game. He could probably use an emergency situation. I don't think he'll play unless K-State's in big trouble and really needs a spark. I do think if K-State fans are watching this, and hopefully they are, or else why are we doing it, Flando, that I think there's hope that he'll be healthy by next week, or at least healthy enough to be a contributing factor. This is not reporting. This is gut feeling. I feel like Dean Wade could probably play. I think there's a concern on his part and the coaching staff that he wouldn't be as effective perhaps as the guys he'd replace because they've played pretty well. I don't think it's a fact if he can't play, but would he be better at 70% than a completely healthy Mike McGurl or Cam Stokes or any of those names? So I think we could see him next week, but I don't expect to see him against the Retrievers.
On a lighter note, before we get to picks and such, UMBC, big Fortnite fans. You're a big Fortnite fan. Do you think that could hinder their preparation for K-State?
It would hinder our preparation. We left the Xbox at home on purpose, so that could be a problem. I mean, I just gained a level of respect for them, but it could be. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's such a big question for me, but hopefully they don't find a treasure chest against the Wildcats again like they did against Virginia last night. I just thought of that off the cuff.
Oh my gosh, that was really good. So let's get to the picks. Let's talk about it. Chance to go to the Sweet 16. What do you see in the Cats, and who's going to do it if they get it done?
I think K-State wins. I think it'll be a competitive game. I don't think K-State runs them out of the gym. It could happen. I don't think it will. I think UMBC's going to play with tons of emotion. The crowd here beside us is going to be nuts for them tonight. But I think K-State handles the game kind of from start to finish. I would take K-State 78-62, something like that. So, something like that, 78-62 K-State. And I'm going to go a little bit off the wall here. I think Cartier-Jada has a big game. Barry's been big. Mike McGurl was huge. Cam was great last night. Somebody, no respect for it. He's going to have to guard somebody, and it may be Cartier-Jada a little bit, and I think he might have a big game for K-State tonight here in the Spectrum Center.
I like it. I'm going to go K-State as well. I'm going to go a little closer, 70-60. How about that? And I'll take a little off-the-wall one, too, going back to Cam Stokes, maybe, being a guy that can step it up and hit some shots like we saw against Creighton. So yeah, for Matt Hall, I'm Grant Flanders. Be sure to see if K-State can take it to the Sweet 16. Yeah.